Hello guys, welcome back. It's been quite the day. There are certain aspects we don't talk about often because I tend to be protective of Loki. It makes me sick to my stomach how people have to make a contest out of everything. So there are certain parts I won't mention because I don't want him being taken advantage of at a vulnerable time, or to have that hurt, broken part trotted out for the amusement of others. And we had done some work last night with the broken bone part of Loki that we usually don't talk about because I'm very protective. And the first person to make a contest all this gets hurt by me personally. And I thought he was okay. He seemed fine. He seemed in good spirits. He seemed like he was my god again. And then he did something incredibly painful and petty last night because he was still in the broken aspect. And that aspect, the more he loves you, the more he's going to hurt you. He's going to lash out at you. You have to remember he has completely lost his mind when he's in that aspect. He's absolutely broken. You can't reason with him. He only knows that he's hurt and he has to hurt you. It's not fair and it's not right. And for whatever reason, we're not given to know. The gods haven't been able to put him back together. I don't think they can. And I had given up on him. I'd given up on him because I didn't realize that was the aspect that attacked me. I thought it was just Loki being petty lately. And I'd made that video, made a couple videos, and I was like, okay, I'm shutting down the channel. I'm done with him. And it's by Apollo's good grace that Apollo and Hermes came and told me what had happened. Because Loki wasn't going to tell me himself. He was off somewhere. And as soon as they told me, I realized I couldn't be angry at him. When he's like that, you know he's going to hurt you. He just literally can't control himself. You're going to get hurt, and it's going to hurt very bad. And you don't know when you start serving Loki if you're ever going to see that aspect, or how many times you're going to see that aspect and what's going to happen. That's why he's a dangerous god to work with, and that's why I wouldn't recommend him for beginners. And Segan came to see me because she knew I was not pleased, because, you know, when he's out to hurt you, he knows exactly where to strike, and he'll make sure he strikes deep. And she says, you know, he can't control himself. And you know, he still loves you, and that's why he attacked you. He'll attack and drive you away. The more he loves you, the more vicious the attack will be. I said, I know. And I said, I need time to think about it. And Apollo and Hermes were the ones to make his case, actually. And I asked Lord Dionysus, since Lord Dionysus has also dealt with insanity, that, you know, Hera struck him with insanity and all the tragedies he's been through. I said, would you please watch over him right now, you know, as I tend to things in the house and such forth and such on. And a little misfortune happened. It wasn't very important. It was just an annoyance, but it was kind of, it's one of the ways I know he's coming and going when misfortunes like that happen. And he was devastated. He knew he shouldn't have attacked me, but he also knew he couldn't help it. And he doesn't know what's wrong with himself. And I told him, you know, it's not his fault. He doesn't have to be ashamed. After what he went through, I would attack people too. He's amazingly sane most of the time for what he's been through. And I told him I didn't want to make the video because I said, I don't want to make this video. And he says, why? People should know. He says, you tell them, you can explain it. And I said, Loki, I love you very deeply, and I don't want to make a video and then have 50 people faking experiences with this broken part of you. You're in a very tender place right now with me. I don't want any other things to be attracted to your, you know, your misfortune right now. But he was quite insistent. And it's a sacred part of his nature. And we've all had gods, you know, show their displeasure. But this is on an entirely different level. This is Loki knows you better than anyone else, and he will be as cruel as possible when he's like this, and he will lash out at you. If you try to help him, he'll just get 10 times worse. He has to reach a point where he comes back enough to us that he can accept help. Right now he's really fragile. I have a candle for Segan, and I have incense going, and I have offerings up for them, and I wish I could put him back together. I wish there was a god or goddess out there that could put him back together. Some Lokeans have said, um, and I'm not crying, you're crying. Some Lokeans have said that, well, if the gods do die in Ragnarok, he'll at least finally be at peace. He is a broken god. Odin is a broken god. A lot of the gods I've attracted are broken gods, actually, come to think of it. But that's a challenge of being a pagan as opposed to being a Christian. They have a perfect god nothing bad ever happened to. Our gods tend to have lived very harsh, very tragic lives. And I wish I could live in the Fluff-a-Bunny world where I believed that nothing bad had happened to Loki, and I believed nothing bad had happened to Odin. And there was a period of time, I forget what monarch it was, they wanted Shakespeare's plays rewritten with happy endings, and somebody did it for them, so all the tragedies became like comedies or romances or whatever. I wish we lived in that world, but in my personal experience, we don't. We live in a world of broken and hurt gods. And in general, you see that when Loki trusts you enough to show it to you, but do not seek it out, because if you're not ready, it's not going to go well. And for the love of the gods, don't make up stories about it. Loki has enough problems as it is without people lying and making up stories about him and agitating other people that work with him. Those that are given the portion of dealing with the breaker of worlds or the broken god or, things like that, have enough on their plates without people making up fibs and making their work 10 times harder, because when Loki's out of his mind, he'll just pick up the nearest material possible and hurt you with it. So, we'll still be here. He should be right as rain probably by tomorrow morning. He will probably act like nothing ever happened, but that is Loki, and he may totally not remember by tomorrow morning. When people say he's insane, we're not saying that to be cute. We're not saying that tritely. He has totally lost his mind in some aspects, and you have to understand that before you start working with him. You don't know what portion you'll get. So, if you like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe. And I can't give you any advice on how to deal with that aspect, except that when you see it, to have compassion. You are going to get hurt, but you have to remember how broken he is, and he literally can't help himself. It doesn't make it right or excuse his behavior, and he knows that. But we also know, as his people, he literally can't control himself at such a time, and he's bound and determined to hurt you and drive you away. And whether you stay or not after is entirely up to you. I wouldn't judge anyone for leaving him for that, because he will make sure to do something as terrible as possible, and it can be a challenge to face. So, if you guys like what you see, like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.